Sometimes it only takes one lightning strike to turn a long, disappointing drive into a success. This was all I ended up with for a 10-hour round trip. It was also caught on video. But what a bolt, and perfectly timed for sunset too. I found a crop sensor camera very limiting on this night with great supercell structure but no bolts to illuminate it. Compromises had to be made between cloud motion, high ISO and graininess. This shot was taken at ISO 200 f8 and 6 seconds. I've since bought a full frame camera which still obtains good results at ISO 1600 versus the ISO 400 I was limited to with the crop sensor. I love photos where a bolt is close enough to give a reflection on the water, and the thin layer of cloud it's passing through adds some further interest to this daytime shot. This was one occasion where desperation paid off. You may be able to see a couple of faint, distant lightning strikes. This was where they all were except for one clear air that jumped away from the storm much closer to me. I love the last light colours in this shot and the bolt being on the edge of the rain. If I had my time again, I'd zoom in more. This one would have benefited from a shorter exposure time so the street lights were a little less bright. This one was all I could manage from some great early morning storms. I missed a lot of the earlier activity as I had to drop my wife at the hospital with some chickens stuck in her esophagus, but it did result in my son seeing his first decent storm. Taken at 120mm, this CG landed about 10 kilometres away. I wish it was a little closer. Also, I should have used a 2-second delay as the camera moved slightly during exposure, possibly when I pressed the shutter button. These twin bolts are still some of the best retina burners I've seen, hitting about 3 kilometres away. Far enough away that I felt safe outside, and importantly I wasn't in the rain yet. This is my number one shot as it's so hard to get a decent rainbow, in this case a double, still have reasonably close lightning, and the rain has to be light enough to set up your camera on a tripod.